tonight. One student obviously was not school aged, so was not in the meeting. It appears as if the other student.
Hello, and good evening, Detroit. You know, normally I would be on 10, right? Because unfortunately, this is Aaliyah Moore, Detroit. Unfortunately, I could not attend Detroit Public Schools Community District School Board meeting. And I'm okay with that, right? But I felt, confident in the virtual option. Unfortunately, I missed the boat, you all. I've been on hold. I logged on at 5:30, made sure I was on time. They called my name. I'm trying to make sure that they're hearing me so that I'm not talking to myself for 3 minutes. And they never went back to me. So, this one right here, the board president, Detroit, y'all better watch her. And I'm not saying this, I'm not saying this because I couldn't be heard tonight, because Detroit represented tonight. I'll go into the detail because I did take good notes. But Detroit stood up today. But this one right here, sitting next to this one right here. But this one right here, look at her. Look at her, Detroit. This is your school board presidente, Dr. Corletta Bishop. But Detroit, she needs a reality check, because just the way she converses with her board, she's trying to run this thing like this is part of the church organization in decency and order. And I hope this board lets her know this ain't church, ma'am, Dr. Bishop. This is a school district. And you are the president of a school board. I ain't worried about this one tonight, Detroit. We got to hold this one accountable because she is in charge of this one. But guess who's in charge of them both? Detroit. But look at them together, y'all. But look at her. Look at her. So confident. So, she's running this thing like, hey, I got it together. We're doing great things. New school board members, old ones. Latrice McClendon just been sitting up there. She asked some old flip-flop questions today about count day. She asking about stuff they already supposed to know. Same with Angelique Mayberry Peterson. But this is the frustration, Detroit, because I actually did the right thing and I logged on at 5:30 to get in this meeting, Detroit. And you see what time it is now. What time is it? It's 8:21. They just called my name. I'm trying to make sure the communication is legit, right? So you got to have two devices because you can't hear your name. Detroit, we went over this in some other labs a while ago. But this one right here, Detroit, get her together. And I challenge every person in the, clergy field. Y'all don't bag up this lady unless you come to 3 school board meetings. Because it's one thing to know someone in the space of God and the space of clergy. But it's a whole nother level to see these people in these seats working and doing their magic for what? The betterment of our students and staff, supposedly. But this is the frustration, Detroit. As a parent, and I'm just... You know what I'm saying? They got me stuttering, so y'all know I'm a little heated, but I'm okay with it because it's bigger fish to fry. Because Detroit gonna get her. Detroit gonna get her. And the fact that she's not experienced, she's not the one that should be the president, but she should be, because this is her time. This is this one's time to shine and show who she is as a school board presidente. Working with this one right here. Detroit, I ain't even mad. I was going to highlight Jeffrey Robinson, speak on some good things on his behalf. I seen other people that had logged on for public comment. And I'm quite sure they were going to do the same. But with the time frame, a parent, hey, it's 8:30. She got to get kids together, dinner, whatever. We virtual, whatever. Maybe it was the same situation with her. You couldn't hear her. I don't know, Detroit. But where's the respect, Detroit, for this? Look at this one right here. She just got it all together. Look at her.
other
look at her as a presidente.
That may be on the horizon is
and we supposed to be
the United States Department of Education.
Over both of these people.
Again, that
all the board, including this man right here, which is a superintendent.
And the Department of Education is not staffed.
I'm going to just mute this because I don't really want to hear him. I'm going to give y'all some highlights of this meeting from the public comment from what I heard. Because like I said, Detroit, you have to have 2 devices. You have to have a laptop or another phone to access. Let me, because I don't want to hear him. He getting on my nerve. But I'm going to keep it rolling, but I'm going to just mute it. How about that? Because you can see him working. You can see him in action while I'm talking. But, you have to have 2 devices. And so I wasn't able to get to this second device, which is the laptop, until probably about an hour or so in the meeting. So I caught a smidgen of his report, and, it went into public comment. Ida Short had some good questions, though. I'll give y'all the highlights, because I can't talk, and I'm sorry for cussing. But, let me just give y'all my notes, since I was unable to do my public comment. Everything happened for a reason, Detroit. But I just want y'all to look at our leadership. Let me give y'all a good view. Presidente Dr.Bishop and Dr. Dr.Vitti. Latrice McClendon, she asked about warming centers and what are we doing as a district. Sad situation, praying for the family, condolences to them babies that lost their life, sleeping in a cold car. That's been the topic of this meeting tonight. And now the district wants to step on the city council's coattail. Shout out to Mary Waters for her initiative. So now this board, reactive as usual. But hey, at least something is being done and said. But Miss Latrice McClendon, which is our vice presidente, talked about warming centers and asked, did we have any? And what are we doing with the homeless department? And are we partnering with a city what kind of relationship? What does that look like, right? Count day. She's stressing the emphasis of tomorrow for count day. But then it's like, hey, come on now. It's a 10-day window, ma'am. So here we go again. Let me give y'all some more notes. Because, hey, it's done for public comment. But this is the frustration. I can understand a frustrated parent. I can understand a frustrated stakeholder trying to reach 2 devices just to be a part of a community meeting if you can't get there. That's awful, Detroit. That's awful and embarrassing. And Crystal Wilson, the rumor in the rumor mill, said that the reason why they have to use 2 different ways to log on because of hackers. Because of hackers. But no hackers are on the committee meetings during the week. But I digress. Dr. Vaughn, our presidente, wanted Vitti to touch on the ICE situation, but Sherry Gay Danielgo kind of reeled her in. Them needs to be some community meetings. Now is not the time to dive in deep when you was just at the NAACP with your fake community meeting, but I digress. Sherry talked about some of the older school buildings maybe being converted into homeless shelters or even, living places, or the district can explore affordable housing with the city. Vitti's answer to that, to renovate one of our buildings possibly could be up to $30 million. And then you have to deal with, actually, are we going to run the shelter? Are we going to run it as a district, or what's going on with that? He said, really, he threw some shade, low-key, because he said in his 8 years, nobody's mentioned it. They be throwing shade at each other on the low. Shout out to Monique Bryant, new school board member. She was talking about GDI and how trifling they are with their janitorial services, lack of staffing, and lack of labeling products with OSHA compliancy, right? Once again, you got board members that's been sitting. Look at her looking at them. You're doing a good job. You're doing great. Let me go stay focused, but I want y'all to look, Detroit. I ain't got to say nothing. She talked about that, and Vitti tried to downplay it, that basically, there is staffing issues, but basically stressed that, we are a district that only pays upon services rendered, or services that we have gotten. So, he basically said that the district's oversight with these companies, GDI and RNA, which are our custodian services, are really only, oversighted by 1 to 3 people on district level. So we have over 100 schools. Look at her. You're doing a great job. Let me digress, Detroit. Let me stay focused to my notes. So yeah, basically that's what, we basically have 1 to 3 people district level that, manage and kind of look over GDI and RNA. Then you had who? Because I'm trying to highlight. When I got on the meeting, Angelique just had so many profound questions. When you were the president, you didn't have these questions, but now you do. Same with Latrice. Iris staying true to who she is. Hey, I ain't asking too much of nothing. I got the books. I'm the treasurer, so I know what's going on with the money. I ain't got to ask too much, Detroit. So Iris staying true to herself, okay? But, it's just, it's just something. Miss Short, Ida Short had a few questions. I don't know what I did with her questions, but she did have some good ones. But it was a lot of good public comments tonight. So, everything happened for a reason. I ain't gonna trip. Dr.Bishop has still not responded to my email that I sent last week concerning cutting off committee public comment and when did that happen. But I'll definitely reiterate it tonight because she's the head of the district, Detroit. And this is her number one superstar superintendent. Because if you're on meetings, that's how she announces him, or she used to. And I hope, and I'm saying that being hopeful, that she still doesn't call this man our super rock star superintendent. This one right here, Dr. Corletta Vaughn. Okay. But we had good public comments tonight. We had a Moms Demand Action. That was a leader. She was talking about the board creating, better safety protection, gun environmental safety, and all of that stuff. We had, of course, shout out to Jamarie. He is one of the reasons why we have that $94 million and using it because of Jamarie Hall and the other plaintiffs that have not still yet gotten their compensation. So he's advocating for them. And he also talked about the metrics and basically what are kids learning when they come, and stressing the fact that these young people want to come, but what are they coming to? Shout out to a Burton grandma. She got her kids at Burton. She said it's a good school. Her kids went there, and now her grandkids are there. She volunteers. Excellent principal for Principal Adams, and the POC is doing a lovely job over there at Burton. Of course, Mother Queen Helen Moore set it off and let them know. She's been in the game 65 years, and she gave them a little background so that they can respect her. It's a shame that I think Miss Moore is 80. Don't quote me, 87, 86. And she has to give a small bio to let them know. Y'all ain't playing with no chump. Don't take my age and the fact, look at her. And the fact that, I come up here and I've been fighting that I don't mean what I say and what I say ain't valid. But that's a shame that she has to do that as a community member of so many years and dedicated and was fighting when half of these people were in school themselves. But I digress. We had Tabron Joe. Shout out to Tabron Joe. He's been consistently coming to board meetings. He was running with me when we both ran. He's a member of BAM. He was talking about preparing for the cuts from Trump. He was also talking about he read a quote and he was talking about all students should have the right to virtual school to maintain our enrollment. And what about the teacher to student ratio if and when our virtual world becomes, a little bigger than what it currently is? Another person, a nurse, spoke on the gaps with the ASD students. I'm not familiar with that abbreviation. I do apologize. But she was just talking about student readiness and how she's been around the world and noticing that students in this district, along with the United States, but in this district, suffer when they get ready to go to college and being college ready. So college readiness. We had another person talking about, shout out to Joyce Jennings. She was back. She was just simply telling them to do better. And she did say, sadly, she had close relations to the children that lost their lives, or it was some type of relative connection. So like I said, once again, condolences to those babies that lost their lives. Prayerfully, they will be the last children, at least for this season. I can hopefully say that will die or perish due to being cold. Another substitute, Miss Tate, she spoke about perhaps the district going to a weekly pay system, especially with the economy being what it is. She talked about the district deserves, it's a disservice for anybody on this board to not have their children vested in this district. And that's a very good point, because this one right here, Dr. Nikolai Vitti, he took his children out of the district not too long after he became our superintendent. He's been here 8 years. I can safely say his children have been out of the district at least 6 years. And I'm not being over exaggerated. And his quote unquote through the rumor mill, his children were being bullied. There she go. There you go. She's concerned. She's working. She's working for us, Detroit. No worries, Detroit. She's working for us. But yes, that sub was talking about it's a disservice. And if anybody on here has taken their children out, what would bring them back? So she asked some good questions. James Beasley, shout out to James Beasley. He emailed the board prior to this meeting a slide that he wanted presented through his public comment. This one right here, our presidente simply said what? Oh, we ain't got it. So you can just go ahead with your public comment. Once again, the disrespect. Look at her. Is she sleeping? Is she taking a nap? She just ate her snacks. Is she sleeping? Did she need a little pick-me-up, a little rip it or something? Or a Red Bull, maybe? Let's keep going, Detroit. James Beasley, but he talked about the NAEP scores, Detroit. Y'all need to look at those. I said it earlier this morning in my live, but James Beasley is a researcher. Very smart, intelligent man. He, I could go on and on about him, but he offered a company to DPSCD, and that was when Ironetta Wright was here. She simply tore it up in his face and said, we're not doing that. But fast forward, he's still researching the NAEP scores, and he has broken it down year after year of results from us. And, he's basically come up there to let them know the severity of the situation. She simply said, hey, we ain't got your slide, baby, but you can talk if you want to. God bless you. But I digress. We had a King mom for Martin Luther King itself. She said that her child did some things that were out of character, and she has been out of school since January the 11th. And immediately they had someone come see her after. We had a Mr. Dr. Joseph, I forgot his last name, forgive me, from Holmes Elementary. He thanked the board for their restance of letting the community know that DPSCD is a sanctuary school district. He thanked them for the extra ICE measures and preventions that have been given to the Southwest community. And he also enlightened us as board members, I'm quite sure, as well as myself. But I do know, different races and nationalities are all over this city. But he highlighted that he found out the hard way. A couple of years ago, he said he taught on the east side, met a Cuban family and another, family, foreign family. So, his point was, it's just not in Southwest Detroit, but to be vigilant throughout your whole district because, people live everywhere. Very valid point. And then you had a mother from Flicks complaining about the policy, stating that her son was removed from kindergarten, good to student as far as academics, and the proper support wasn't there. She has now since removed her child, but, was saying something about the principal having another job during school hours, and she knew because they worked together. So, hey, what do I know, Detroit? I'm just taking notes for y'all because I couldn't speak for public comment, but I'm giving y'all Detroit's voice tonight. So everything happens for a reason. That's why I wanted to be thorough and make sure I let y'all know Detroit is speaking, and it ain't no telling. It was a good 4 or 5 other names that I saw on there for public comment, but yet, I didn't hear from them. So, I don't know what's going on with the tech department. I don't know if they're being instructed to cut off public comment. And you have to think that way, Detroit. Everything is strategic. It's not a coincidence that I have to use 2 devices, unfortunately, because I couldn't get there today, Detroit. But I understand the frustration. And this lady right here, before I let you go for the night and maybe pretend to listen to this meeting, but, this lady said on a listening session, the last parent listening session, that she was in the position of the presidente to heal the relationship between the community and the district. But how are you healing it, ma'am? You're running it so far as if it, to me, is giving a little church setting, a little usher board and a committee meeting-ish, decency and order-ish. And it's no disrespect to the church. You know what I'm saying? But a church is just a church. It's just a building. It depends on the leadership. And she can run game like that maybe in the clergy. But she has an obligation to our students and us as parents. So cutting Mr. Beasley and disregarding his slide and, cutting public comment and not even going back to see if we can get it again because I've been on hold for 3 hours. But you're healing the relationship. And I'm just not speaking on me because like I said, tonight I saw for sure at least 4 or 5 names after me. Now, true enough, two of them did come in person. And that's just a little FYI for you, Detroit. I'm going to give y'all a little hack before I let y'all go. If you are on your way to a school board meeting, log on Zoom. Do the public comment way and be on your way. Therefore, you're in line to speak. So when you get there, they can't deny you because you've already registered. You just done it virtually. And then now you have the ability to get there. So I am going to get off because I do want to hear. I see our new board member, Latrice, I'm naming everybody, ain't I? Monique Bryant asking some things. So I'm going to get off tonight. I'm going to let y'all have a good night. Just keep doing what y'all doing, Detroit. If you can, lift up Dr. Jeffrey Robinson in your comments, in your emails, phone calls to the district of support. And that's all I got tonight. Be blessed. Get ready for count day tomorrow. If we don't got no school Thursday, that's what everybody hyping up. Black love will be Friday. But enjoy the night. I ain't got nothing else to say.